As a society, I think we need to talk about romantic relationships from a different perspective, which doesn't mean having to discuss whether there's only monogamy, whether humans are polyamorous, or like the type of romantic relationships. But I think we need to discuss more about which role a romantic relationship plays in our life, and also why our society is so obsessed with this type of relationships. Hello everyone, my name is Annette and I'm here to help people to develop an independent interpretation of reality and trying to understand how spirituality is integrated in our everyday life. If you want to see what I have to say on this topic, please keep watching the video after the intro. So first of all, I want to briefly say why I decided to talk about this topic and how this video is going to be. First of all, it's not, let's say, planned video. It's not that when I registered the audio videos, I planned so much into details what I wanted to say, but I usually made like, bullet points or things like that. And this is not the case in this video. I just want to follow the flow. And it happens in this moment because in the last period of my life, I had to reflect on a lot of topics that were maybe triggering me or that just came up again. So it's nothing new. This type of topic is not new to me. And I also think I made a post about universal love on my Instagram if you want to check that out. So it's not a new topic to me, but I think I finally see what I've also always believed from a more, let's say, rational perspective. I just want to make a few things clear first. I'm not going to talk about my experiences. I'm currently in a good relationship. I'm feeling good, whatever. So I'm not going to talk about experiences and what I felt or things like that. I'm just expressing this perspective, of course, out of my experiences, but I know that what maybe I'm going to say now is the conclusion, right? So of course I went, as we all have probably, went through relationships that gave us something specific, that made us feel in a certain way, that made us come to a certain conclusion. So the perspective I am discussing now is like the outcome of all the experiences I have had up to now. And also, I know that what I'm going to talk about excludes having kids and children. It will become clearer later, but like I know that when it comes to romantic relationships, a strong topic related to that is having children. So I understand that what I'm going to say leaves that part out. I think that what I'm going to say can be easily adapted to the situation where romantic relationships involve kids. It's just going to be very less romantic. I want to divide the video in two main parts. The first being like how I see romantic relationships in our life. The second part being about possible reasons why our society is so obsessed with like romantic relationships, right? So we know that most of the people, or let's say like our society tells us that having a romantic relationship is very important in our life. It's probably the most beautiful thing we can experience as humans. And that it's something that has to happen in our life, right? Which doesn't mean it has to be a monogamous relationship, because now we see that people start to have polyamorous relationships or like things like that, right? I know every type of relationships can change what I'm saying a bit, but let's say I will probably mostly refer to monogamous relationships. So in our society, the existence of romantic relationship is, of course, everywhere. It seems, as I said before, that we need to have a romantic relationship and that everybody has to have a long-term relationship in their life, otherwise they're not complete, they're missing something or whatever. The idea of having a romantic relationship, and I would say, as I said before, let's talk about monogamous relationship and even more maybe heterosexual relationships. We can see this idea in society in the sense that our society envision, and by our society I mostly mean of course Western society, but I would say most of the societies in our world, even though of course I don't know every culture or every society. So like our society envisions humans in couples at a certain point in their life, loving each other forever, and gives us a certain idea of how love in a romantic relationship is supposed to be. And of course, we are fighting for how love needs to be, in the sense that we are, of course, trying to challenge the gender stereotypes. We are trying to challenge a traditional way of seeing relationships, what it means to be loved, how we love. There's not just one standard way, but still, the existence of a romantic relationship, despite being considered differently or like in different ways, its existence is still, let's say, required in a society. We see that also in religion, especially like with Christianity or like monotheistic religions. We see that humans are supposed to be in couples and things like that to fulfill something in that specific religion. And we see this idea also in spirituality. So despite, as I said in other videos, spirituality is much more open-minded than religions, because in spirituality you can develop your own beliefs, you are free to explore the existence as you want, with like, you know, dogmas or things like that. There is still this idea of a couple, a sacred couple. They are called twin flames, which is like, you know, the perfect couple. You can search on the internet or like YouTube. There's a lot of material on twin flames, which is not the same as soulmates. Like, I do strongly believe in the existence of soulmates, which are basically souls of the same family of souls that you meet in more lifetimes, in the form of like friends, boyfriend, girlfriend, mother, father, whatever. Twin flames couple is basically the romantic relationship, the perfect romantic relationship, which is not perfect immediately. There's like the idea of these two twin flames meeting, and then they have a lot to solve, blah, blah, blah. Then they go apart, and then they might come together again if they solve their issues and things like that. But there is still this strong idea that the same soul exists in two bodies, most of the time being like a man or a woman, or better, being like a divine masculine and divine feminine, which I'm going to talk about in the next video probably, because I really want to talk about this. So it doesn't matter if like the divine masculine is inside a woman, or the divine feminine is inside a man, or two men, or two women, whatever. But this idea that the same soul is split in two, and to get together they need to enter in this romantic relationship and challenge each other, and only with the other person you can complete yourself. So now we get to the point. So the point is that to me it sounds absurd that we need someone else to fully develop, to fully be ourselves, to fully ascend or whatever. And this idea is not new. As I said previously, I thought about this topic. Sorry, it's the third time I'm filming this part because it got deleted, so I'm not as like involved as before, but yeah. So the idea that I don't need anyone to be like complete already came to my mind a few years ago, so even before I met my boyfriend. And of course, this idea got less and more strong throughout the years, based on like things that happen and that made me wonder, like, do I really believe that? And why do I believe into something and then I don't act accordingly? Now I can see like the spiritual, emotional, and mental, whatever part all together, so that what I'm going to say actually is what I really believe and feel. And basically, I came to the conclusion that we are our perfect partner because we spend all our life with ourselves. We know ourselves better than anyone else. We are just because, often we search in a partner someone that matches us and we work well together. Well, we need to work well with ourselves. We match ourselves. We are our perfect partner. Like, our relationship, a romantic relationship, is not finding the perfect partner. It's not finding someone that completes you. To me, it's just not. Like, you are your perfect partner. You are in relationship with yourself for all of your life. And you have in yourself what you're looking for. You don't have to look into other people, what you're missing, what you need, or what you already have and you want to share. It can happen, it happens, but first it has to happen with yourself. And of course, thinking in this way, like that we need to find this other half, leads to this idea that we need to find someone, that we need to be in a relationship in our life at a certain point, that if we don't have a partner, then we are making something wrong. And even if we believe like, yeah, I don't need a romantic relationship, did you really change the perspective you have on relationship? Or you just think, yes, exist, that's what I'm supposed to have, but I don't want to change the concept of how a romantic relationship is before you say, I can live without that. And of course, this also leads, and I think it's a process that starts since we are children because of how society works, leads to the idea that we are never complete, that we miss something, that we cannot be our partner, that we, like, really, like, religiously and spiritually, the idea that half of your soul is somewhere else, conceptually, like rationally, leads to the idea that you are not complete, right? Also, this way of thinking puts a romantic relationship on a pedestal and it shadows all other types of relationships. And I'm like, why is a romantic relationship better than other relationships in finding yourself, in developing yourself? Why is it better than relationship you have with your family, with your friends, with people you meet? Like, relationship that exist way before we enter romantic relationships, because maybe we enter romantic relationships when we are I don't know, 13, 15, 16, 20 years old, but probably we have had friends way before. We have met our families when we were born or not, and in the good or in the bad way, all relationships have a huge impact in how we develop ourselves, and especially the relationship with ourselves. I'm not saying like relationships are not important, they are essential in our life. But I don't believe that a romantic relationship is better than other relationships in helping us to develop, in just making our life happens, right? It's different. Like, it's different. A romantic relationship is not the relationship with our family, is not the relationship with our friends, but it's not better. Like, the idea that it is better than other relationships in developing ourselves, I do believe is a societal and cultural idea. It's not what it is. Because, to be honest, I believe the relationship with our parents, being like positive or negative, is essential for us. Friends are essential, like, they're not any less than a romantic relationship. Of course, a romantic relationship allows me to discover myself in other way, express myself in other ways, building a different type of relationship, but it's not better. And I'm saying this because I used to believe, being influenced, that yes, okay, family, yes, okay, that, but yeah, when you meet your person, is going to be completely different, and you are finally reaching your highest point. And I had, of course, very bad relationships that kind of destroy this romantic idea, but I'm actually glad in a way because I could see things clearly. And of course, I couldn't say this right after the breakups, because then I would have been, of course, in a negative mood and in a negative idea of what a romantic relationship is, which I'm not anymore. I am positive about romantic relationships, but I didn't change the idea that they are not better or superior than other relationships. They are super beautiful in their singular way, but still, why are we so obsessed that just one person can completely allow us to, become our greatest self? And I think realizing this idea really allows us to live romantic relationships in a more open-minded way, because there is this idea. I'm not going to discuss how this idea is. I think everybody more or less understand what I mean, and we can search online or whatever, but there is this idea of how a romantic relationship is supposed to be. And I think challenging the concept of how a relationship is supposed to be is not enough. We really need to challenge and discuss and rethink the role that a romantic relationship has in our life, what it means, why are we looking for that. And I think most of the people, even after changing idea, we are still looking for a romantic relationship, as we are looking for a good relationship with our family, a good relationship with our friends, or wanting relationships, but not necessarily all relationships are going to be present in our life, or we need all relationships, all type of relationships. And really, when you think well, actually, yes, I don't need necessarily a romantic relationship in my life, and a romantic relationship doesn't have to be as society says, I really start to see myself. I really start to want to get better, to rely on myself, to be my comfort zone, to be, I hope you understand, I hope you get what I mean. And it stops us from looking for someone that has to be so special, that has to be in a certain way, and allows us to live a romantic relationship in another way. And in my way, to me, is yes, it can be in different ways, right? And I think that a romantic relationship, we can have several of them, right, in our life, and they can all be different, and they can all be real romantic relationship. It's not because some a relationship is more in a certain way, then it's a real romantic relationship, and if it's different, then it's not a romantic relationship. They can take different shapes and forms, and they can be more or less important in our life in that moment. And I think it's a process for us humans. It seems like we need to get to the process, of course, where we get heartbroken, so that we really understand the space and the position that a romantic relationship has in our life. And if we think about the possible reasons of why it is so important in our society to have these romantic relationship in our life, the reasons, I think, can be different. I'm going to discuss 3 reasons. I would say a societal reason, religious, and biological. So when it comes to the societal reason, I think we can probably all relate to that. But when I talk into a societal reason, I think about the bricks of society. Couples are the bricks of society, right? Because when 2 people come together, they form a family, and the family has an economical power, also political, whatever, but it has an economical power, and people buy houses, and they work, and they do this and that. So society needs couples, because how our capitalistic system works, it needs couples, because if people would live in communities, and these type of relationships exist in the world, for sure. If all societies were like this, then there are not so many houses to sell, right? All the products, because if we live in a big family, we only need one microwave. We don't need a microwave for every couple. I don't know if it makes sense. The same goes with like job positions and things like that. So I'm not going into details, but like what I think is like society needs couples. And there's also, I think it was Butler. I mean, there are some sociologists and anthropologists that discuss about this. Like, the capitalistic system needed couples, and especially monogamous heterosexual couples, to be built in the way we know. And also, what I wanted to add to the societal reason is that we are influenced to the point that we feel safe economically and stuff, or safer if we are in a couple. And in this period, it makes sense because it's easier to pay things if you are a couple. But like, I think we are so conditioned that we like unconsciously feel safer if we are in a couple. And then we have, like, we play together in this game, right? And goes with the biological explanation, the biological reason, the fact that we are naturally biologically prone to form couples because of several biological reasons. And as I said, I didn't like, I could know something like, for example, like how our hormones get attached, like they are attracted to a certain person, and then we form a bond and we release hormones that allows us to want it to be just with one person and things like that. We see that also in animals. But this is also a weak explanations, right? Because we have science telling us that probably, well, first, sure, we first see that in our everyday life that people, cheat and stuff, so we can socially think like, why do people cheat? It's like monogamy, how humans should be, right? But also biologically, there are explanations that tell us that we as animals, as humans, are not that monogamous. Like, also our body connects with other humans and stuff like that, so biologically we are probably not that monogamous. And then the other reason, so, is religion. So then, of course, let's take Christianity, the idea that God created like a man and a woman, and they have to get together and then have to like have so many kids because that's God's plan and things like that. So, of course, religion now it's less present in our society, but of course before it was super present in our society, so they went hand in hand. There's also like some texts talking about how Christianity actually helped capitalism to become the main economical system, but like, yeah, whatever. We can discuss about this, just let me know, I would be super happy to talk about these topics. But like, religiously, people from a Christian or like monotheistic point of view are supposed to be in couples to fulfill God's plan. I hope that it made you think somehow, and apart from that, I would really love to know what you think, because I know that what I say is nothing new, like probably a lot of people think in this way, but still I hear about people that think completely in the opposite way. So I would be really interested to know what you think and how you see romantic relationships and which role they have in your life. In my case, they are important. It is important they are. I mean, I'm in a relationship now, so it is important. But I see and experience that since I'm giving the romantic relationship another and a different type of role in my life, things just get better with myself first. Because it takes away things such as, I don't know, comparing like how your relationship is and how maybe it's supposed to be, or like how I see myself, how I relate to myself. It's just different. I don't know how to explain. It's just different. I could make several examples. I don't want to bother you, but like, the way I relate to myself, the way I create a relationship with myself is changing for the better since I finally made peace with this view of a romantic relationship. So yeah, I hope this was somehow a nice video to watch. I also have an Instagram page if you want to check it out. It's also easier to discuss and to talk and to get to know each other. And with that being said, I hope you enjoyed the video, and please leave a comment, activate the notification bell so that you won't miss any other video. And yeah, I hope to see you in the next one. Bye!